You could say that, oops, death is right now. You could say that death is what's happening. Sometimes it takes me a while to get speaking. So you could say, why would I say that death is happening now? So the question is who are you? Who are you truly? The mind projects images of other people and of yourself and of this timeline that you're walking through. So most people think they've come in, they've sat down, they're listening to me speak, and that there's somebody sitting here, whereas actually there is nobody sitting here. So you could say death is now because there's nobody actually alive. There's forms appearing, there's life appearing, but there's nobody life is happening to. And so all those people that you see out there, so your parents, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your enemies, you think of them as people and you have this image of them that you clamp onto them. So you've got your neighbor who annoys you. His name's Larry and he annoys you and he always speaks too much, and when you come out of your home you're always hoping that he doesn't come out and speak to you, etc. And he's plumpy or something, and he's a bit of a know-it-all, and he's from the north of England, and he is a truck driver, and I don't know, the list goes on. And you think that's him. You think that makes an entity that lives inside the body. So when you imagine him as this entity that's moving around. Whereas actually, you could say it's that personality that you project into him is as much him as, say, his skin. And you know that the skin is always regrowing and regenerating, and it's never solid. If we burn it, it grows again. That's the same with the personality. It's not a fixed thing inside the body. It's something that's always evolving and changing and appears only now. So say with Larry, he could be like a certain type of person with his wife. Say he's like quite narcissistic and dominant and bullying, but then at work he's a completely different character. And we struggle with that because we think it should just be one person. But our personalities are only appearing in what we respond to. There isn't a solid personality. We have tendencies and we have ways in which we are, but you put everybody in different situations and you'll find they always respond differently. There isn't a fixed person. So right now, when you look at me and you project onto Lisa, you think that she's a personality walking through time and that you know things about her. She's this way or that way, or nice or kind, or angry or grumpy, whatever it is that you project onto me. And you think that's me, but that's not who I am. That's an experience that's happening. Who I am is this stillness that is everything that's looking, this emptiness that's looking. And it's the same that way. So there's nothing here that's alive, but yet there is simply everything. So in one way you could say you are already dead because there is nobody here that is alive. Who is alive? Right now, who are you? You're nothing. You're total emptiness. What's happening in most people is our bodies have certain reactions and traumas and habits and conditions and way of being, and most people are attached to that and think that's who they are. So say now they maybe have a habit of having anxiety or something, and they believe that's them, that anxiety, that is who they are. They can't, it's not an intellectual thing, they can't separate it out. They just feel that who they are is somebody with anxiety that's looking out, and they just feel anxious. Whereas actually there is something that's prior to that, or beyond the anxiety. And it's at the moment they're clamped together, your essence and form and consciousness or presence or who you truly are is identified with form when you solely believe, so when you energetically are identified with being the person and you don't have a connection to who you truly are, then what happens is you become afraid of death. Like, obviously the body is naturally afraid of death. Like, I'm not going to go running into a fire or into a tiger's mouth. So naturally there is fear of death. The body is programmed to be that. But you get this existential fear of death because you believe that you're in relationship with others. But who are these other people? Your mother, your father, your friends have never actually spoken to you. They've only appeared to speak to you. You're only appearing to be in a relationship with them. In the actuality, who is it that's speaking? So now when I speak, you think it's me, whereas actually it's presence speaking. So in a way, you could say everywhere you go, everything you do is the same energy experiencing itself. And what you know yourself, your relationships to be and yourself to be, is a story running in time. It's not an actuality. I'm not talking about ignoring your feelings here and trying to push away fear of death. But it is simply a story that you're telling yourself, and it gets embedded into the body, these fears, these energies, these perceptions. It's just like now, so say if I got a letter through the post being told off about getting a big fine or something for something that I've done wrong, you know, driving or taxes, or what else can you get a fine about? Your dog pooping in the wrong area. And it's a big fine. And say just before this stream, I read the letter and I was like, oh, fuck. And I haven't exactly got the money to pay it. I'd have to borrow the money to pay it. That's going to create a discomfort in your body. So that might trigger, you know, like past memories of times that's happened. And that creates a discomfort in your body. You see it, you experience it, and then there's a discomfort in your body. And that's minor. So then, you know, in a few hours, that'll most probably go away and they'll be working out the situation. But originally there's a discomfort, and it could go away within seconds as well. But these bigger stories, so this story of death, so say you've been afraid of death for a long time or you have hypochondria, this is something that builds over time. And it's something that plays in the background that you might not even be conscious of. And it might not always be there, but it's playing. And it's most probably related to some form of anxiety. Like, and it just gets projected onto that. Often that's what we do, is we have some form of anxiety appearing, and then we project it onto illness or death of people, or worries about work, or worries about the house, or whatever it is. Or your relationship. What else was I going to say? Yeah. Like, so it's, I burped and then threw myself off. So it's like a form of anxiety that plays in the background. And so, and seeing that there is some form of story in there that you're attached to. So rather than it just being something that comes and goes through the body, there's some form of story in there that you believe it's true and you believe it's you, and your experience, so the experiencer and that feeling come one and the same thing. And you carry it around from day to day. And it's just identifying those feelings and those thoughts. Often they remain hidden, and just seeing what they are and seeing that they're not true. Though there isn't people that die, that you do not die. You were never alive. Who is it that's alive? Who, who, who. Who is it alive? It gets darker now. You might think that that sounds like a bit of a like boring question, like you want to know how to deal with your feelings, or you want to know how to deal with this life situation or that life situation. But who is it that's alive? Who is it that's experiencing now? It's the most fun, what's that word? It's the most, I've forgotten that word. It's the most fundamental question. That wasn't what I was trying to say. Profound question. Who is it? Who sits here? Who speaks? Who hears? Who looks? Okay, I take some questions now.